Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week we're going to continue our series on the Goetia, and we're going to talk about the 12th spirit of the Goetia, Sitri. So stay tuned. Okay, I think this may be one of the top 3 Goetian spirits I get the most questions about. And I think I know why that is, and we'll talk about that a little bit in here. But I am actually excited to do this one because so many of you have been asking about it. And I'm being stubborn, I'm sticking to my order. But you know that, we're going to go in order through these spirits. And I apologize, but I'm going to have to do that to keep the videos organized and make sure I know where I'm at and I don't get lost and don't miss any. And we're not showing favoritism. All the spirits get equal respect. Alright, so first off, we always talk a little bit about what does this entity look like. Well, in the Goetia, Sitri is actually described as an entity having a leopard's head with griffin wings, and upon command will assume a very beautiful human form. And in all honesty, for the people that I have worked with over the years, this does seem to be the case. They often do mention the leopard head or a cat's head. Not always a leopard, I've noticed, but leopard does seem to be pretty common. But I have talked to a lot of people who've seen other large cats. Some larger than a leopard, if you want my opinion. And the wings, the griffin wings. Now, I found the griffin wings interesting as a word text comment here. Because, honestly, the griffin wings could be a lot of different birds. And a lot of people even describe griffin wings as eagle wings. But when I talk to all the different practitioners I've talked to, the wings do seem to be a thing. And some of them even speculate these wings might even be where angel wings got their kind of conceptual from. I don't know if that's necessarily true. That might be a little reach. But the wings upon the entity does seem to be a common denominator. Now, I have always seen Sitri approach as a humanoid with an animal's head and those big, beautiful wings. And no matter what the appearance, Sitri does have this natural, beautiful allure about them when they approach. Now, when the spirit approaches, I have noticed personally that it does approach as male and female. And talking to other practitioners, they have said the same. A lot of practitioners will refer to Sitri as he. Some will refer to Sitri as she. And that does make sense within the dynamic and specialization of the spirit dealing with love and lust and the like. It doesn't really draw any lines. So, he goes both ways, as they say. And that's perfectly fine. But I will say, yes, this entity, if the animal form does make you uncomfortable for some reason, you can ask politely and he will shift it to a more pleasant form, more humanoid, more relatable. That's something I've never noticed there was an issue with. I've asked him a few times just to see what the forms may look like, but by and large, I'm pretty comfortable with whatever Sitri wants to approach as. That's never been an issue for me. Some magicians have issues with it. I don't. All right. Now, with that said, I think we should get a little bit into the correspondences. What do people associate with this particular spirit of the Goetia? Well, we always talk about those ranks, don't we? Sitri is a prince. He holds the rank of prince within the Goetia. The metal people associate with him would be tin. The planet people associate with Sitri would be Jupiter. Tongue-tied there. Jupiter. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me give me some coffee here. Wet my whistle. The color associated with Sitri is blue. Now, this I find fascinating. I know a lot of people who think red and pink might be more associated, but he does tie into that blue quite a bit. And though you can definitely use pinks. In fact, I know a lot of people who use pink visualizations and reds during evocation as a mental stimulant. And that's perfectly fine. But in a lot of the correspondences, he is definitely tied into blue. Now, in Demons of Magic, the book, one of the evocation tools and the visualizations is the color pink. So that does make sense as to why that would be there as well. Next, we have the element being earth. And this makes sense. A lot of the stuff that Sitri deals in is dealing with the physical plane. It's dealing with the here, the now, the flesh, the physical realm. So that would make sense that earth is actually very heavily tied in with this particular spirit. Which, I'm sure you're wondering by now, is Drake. Okay, we got the earth, what is it he actually helps with? What makes him so popular? Well, some of you may have already guessed it. But the things that make Sitri so possible is he helps with love, or sex, or carnal things in general. See, I wouldn't go to Sitri necessarily if I'm looking for a good, long-term, deep mental and emotional connection with a person. You could. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not really Sitri's specialty. His specialty is more in the carnal side of sex, getting laid, having a good time, those kinds of things. However, people do often misinterpret how that may be utilized. See, the three key things over the years that have been roughly put out there, and talking with other magicians, and that Sitri is very, very good at accomplishing, is one, getting a specific individual to actually have signs of feelings for you. Now, some people will call this inflamed with passion for you, or to begin to desire you. And everybody's like, well, that's all I need. Nope. Listen, even if Sitri gives a person the thoughts, the ideals, and even the physical lust for you, their free will is still in control, and they have the ability to choose to act on those thoughts or feelings. And free will is very important. Sitri does not take away free will. And there are people who try. There are people who try to use Sitri to take free will, just get a quickie, and or force someone into being a boyfriend or girlfriend. I've seen it time and time again, and it always blows up in their face. But Sitri can help you to stack the deck in your favor, to get you in the door to talk to someone and meet them. Now, one of the reasons a lot of people talk about Sitri being kind of the hookup spirit, I hate that word, is because the things he does help with, you don't really have to do as much work if it's just a hookup, a one-night stand, or a short thing. It's the long term where your personal faults start to show more and more. And those are the things he doesn't necessarily help with as well. Because, again, we're not talking about removing free will. We're just talking about making you more attractive to the opportunity of said situation. The next one is to encourage another to be more open and receptive to the temptations of your advances, your seduction, your approaches, your flirting. There's 1,000 different ways through different generations that this has been presented. I don't know if this term's still used. I know it was when I was in high school, your game. Hopefully I'm not showing my age too bad there, but do feel free to laugh at me. And I mean no insult to any type of terminology that is currently used out there, but he can encourage an individual to do that. Now, here's the kicker with this one. A lot of people's like, should I name the person? I don't think I would. I think I would just, if you're going out to have a night and you're trying to meet someone, I would just use this as a general. That way you can talk to multiple people through the night and see who's the most approachable. Now, the first one, that's clearly a named individual. That's someone who you're being very, very specific on, and someone you're directing. Now, you could use both of these, obviously, and that would help you. And the third thing that Sitri does is to give you an aura of attraction and allure. and make you physically desirable because of that aura. Now, these things can be used individually, or they can be used in conjunction with one another. I know a lot of practitioners who actually do 3 workings on 3 different days, heavily focused on all 3 of these to highly stack the deck for their weekend shenanigans. Now, I'm not a big fan of, just going out and meeting people at random. That's not my cup of tea. I don't judge people who do it. Everyone's got their own thing. Everyone does their own thing. I don't judge. So this is a spirit that I've worked with from time to time for different reasons, but don't really work with a lot, and especially in these direct areas. I will admit that last one I've used a bit more from time to time, depending on situations, actually to lower the stress and the awkwardness of the situation, because I knew there was going to be several people who, they're asshats. And if I was able to use that aura and that allure and that attraction, people who are naturally drawn to you, and there's that energetic attraction, even if they don't know why, they just become far more pleasant to be around. Now, I never used it in any way, to connect with them, as you might say, but it did definitely help to break the ice, ease the tension on the situation, so that not only me, but everyone who had to attend the event had an absolutely wonderful time, including those people. And the irony to that is, on more than one occasion, me and some of these people actually stayed in touch, and I do remember one of them actually telling me, yeah, I remember being attracted to you for some reason that night, and it was nice to get to know you, but after a few days that attraction just vanished, but I was left with a dear friend. And I'm just like, really? Because it does work. So, those are a few of the things you can work with. Like I said, you can stack them, but I must reiterate, do not attempt to take free will from them. You will have to actually do the work. You're going to have to present yourself well. You're going to have to talk to the lady or the gentleman with respect. You are actually going to have to be a little charismatic on your own. This sets you up. Sitri is like a wingman for you. They put you in the best absolute situation. But you can still screw it up. You can totally still screw it up. Because they still have their free will. You have been presented in the best light possible. Now what can you do? That kind of concept. Now with that said, let's go ahead and throw Sitri's sigil up here so you all can see that. And as always, you guys have loved that I've been including these uns. A few of you have emailed me. Apparently you all enjoy watching me get through these with my southern accent. Okay, I'm glad I can entertain somehow. Alright, so let's see if we can get Sitri's. So, Sitri's un would be Le Roch Allura Viva Sitri. Le Roch Allura Viva Sitri. Le Roch Allura Viva Sitri. That's the best I can do on that one. Again, it was on the screen, so hopefully you could read it better than I can say it. Also, I'm fighting a cold, so Lord only knows what that's going to make me sound like on here. Guess I'll see in editing. Alright, so my personal experiences with Sitri is usually where we try to close. Like I said, Sitri can appear both male and female and has done so for me. In my experiences when talking with others, the spirit has been very helpful in the realm of dealing with love and helping them meet somebody. A few of them have met that person, really enjoyed them, and either worked with other spirits to build it into a long-term relationship or put their own personal focus to building it. But they didn't turn to Sitri for the long term. There may be people out there who have worked with Sitri in a long-term concept. The people I've talked to and met have not. Just want to make that clear. Now, one of the things, or one of the places I think Sitri can be really, really helpful, and I do think this goes for possibly finding a long-term relationship, in fact, I'd say it does, is Sitri can actually coach you, teach you, and help you to improve your charisma, how you carry yourself, how you approach people, the jokes you tell, the way you present yourself, all these little things. Because if you think about it, if you've utilized Sitri for the things above, but at the same time, you've worked with Sitri to develop yourself, that's going to be the one that keeps giving, keeps benefiting no matter what. And I think that is perhaps Sitri's biggest power here, because it does help you in developing those things. Also, I've noticed that Sitri is great at not only developing that charisma and how you approach people, but also helping develop how you see yourself. And this right here is one of the most powerful tools when it comes to meeting someone, because how you carry yourself, your confidence that you naturally have, really does attract people. Because if you're confident and comfortable in your skin, you don't come off as desperate. Let's be honest. There's a reason the people who seem to care less about finding someone tend to find them easier. And those who are focused and looking tend to have trouble. And that's because the people who are focused and looking oftentimes come off as desperate, where the others come off as calm, collected, confident, secure. So having Sitri help you with your charisma, help them with how you carry yourself, how you see yourself, and getting that confidence, and just that being comfortable in your own skin is definitely, in my mind, one of the most powerful things that Sitri can truly help you with. But I will reiterate again here at the end, Sitri is not going to take free will. Sitri will not enslave someone for you, and if you do that, you're only asking for trouble. So do not contact me asking for enslavement, how to get Sitri to do that, or tell me that you did it even though I told you not to, and how do you fix it. Alright, I hope you do reach out and work with Sitri, though. Sitri is a fantastic spirit for any and all of us, even if it's just to help see ourselves in a better light. That is, again, the most powerful thing I've found for Sitri, and that's honestly one of the things I go to Sitri for the most, is constantly working to improve me. Alright, so I hope this video has been helpful and informative to you, and until next time, I'm Drake. This is Working Dragon Mystic. See you next time. Bye-bye.